Now, Charles, I don't know whether it was you that tapped me on my shoulder. Perhaps you were going past me.
It's absolutely pitch black in here. You wouldn't be able to believe how dark it is.
As I was saying, this is the first floor. Just through there is the sick bay. And in that sick bay area there's a doorway with some bunk beds, and that's where a shadow figure's been seen and photographed, and it was in one of the local newspapers.
Someone was touching my arm, tapping me under there. You'll set it off and it'll play a tune.
We're the only people in this bunker. We've secured the bomb blast doors. No one can get in here, it's just us.
Okay, I thought I heard you then. To be honest, it sounded like more than one of you.
It sounded like it was coming from in the corridor or the next room. Who's making that noise? Can you do it again?
Someone was holding that door.
Oh,
You got one? Oh my god.
there's some working.
Look on the computer. But that would be down there.
That looks quite incredible.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Evan
sir.
Poison. Manufactured
Yes, sir.
record.
Yes, sir.
Go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Here we go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Here we go.
It's like a light is in my face, but I can't fall for you. I close my eyes and drift away. I've toast on you. Cause then you wake up dead one day.
Attention. Attention. The UK is currently under attack from nuclear weapons. You have approximately 4 minutes to find shelter. Communications have been severely disrupted. The number of casualties and the extent of the damage are not yet known. Stay tuned to this channel, stay calm, and stay indoors. This is not a test.
Our investigation continues at Kelvedon Hatch secret nuclear bunker. Construction started in 1951 and was completed in 1954. It would be the centre of operations for the UK if there was a nuclear attack. Visitors and staff here have witnessed full-bodied apparitions of RAF officers, one female officer who tells people to get out. A male officer who is known by the name of Charles wanders the government department's area on the second level. An old lady who is very tall has been seen. Voices are heard, the sound of doors opening and closing, and the sound of footsteps have been heard throughout the bunker. Many TV shows and documentaries that have taken place here have stated that during digging its foundations in 1951, the workers uncovered and disturbed a graveyard. It has also been claimed that there were many deaths involved during its construction. After months of research, several years ago, we managed to find the project manager who oversaw its construction, Ron Horn, who is now located in New Zealand. And when I put these questions to Ron, he told us that there were no deaths and no gravestones, bones, or anything relating to a cemetery that was discovered. So why does the bunker have paranormal activity? Classified documents still exist where other operations took place here, but they are not available as of yet, and perhaps the answers are still there under lock and key. We are 125 feet underground with 10 feet thick walls of reinforced concrete. We are in the countryside, so there is no sound whatsoever from the outside, and sealed tight inside. We left Mark alone on the second level within the Prime Minister's quarters, and Phil and I made our way back up to the first level.
Right, there's a clock running somewhere, I can't do much about that. I'm on the second floor of Kelvedon Bunker in what would have been the Prime Minister's private living quarters. Compared to the rest of the living quarters, this is quite luxurious. She would have had her, or whoever it was, he or she, would have had their, they've got their own writing desk there, an easy chair, bed. Some nice pictures on the wall. Don't know whether they would have been in there back in the day if it had to have been used. It's absolutely pitch black in here. You wouldn't be able to believe how dark it is. Did any Prime Ministers actually come down here and do exercises in case the worst happened and there was a nuclear strike? Did any of the past Prime Ministers come down here and maybe practice what it was like living down here for maybe a few days or a week? If so, could you let me know into that little box there, black box with the red light? or if there's anybody else who's in the corridor, or maybe in this room or the next room, maybe you could knock on something to let me know you're there, or set the little device off there with the green light on it. It won't do you any harm, it'll just make a buzzing noise and pretty lights will show on it. Or there's another box there that if you walk in the corridor, you'll set it off and it'll play a tune.
The sound of a door opens and closes in the hallway only yards away from Mark. We know it is not any of us, as Phil and I are up on level 1.
You'll set it off and it'll play a tune. You'll set it off and it'll play a tune.
We check our static cam 1, which is covering the stairwell where Mark is located, and we now know that what Mark was hearing is the sound of the door opening and closing on level 2.
Who's that making that noise? Can you do it again? That was loud. It sounded like it was coming from in the corridor or the next room. Who's making that noise? Can you do it again? That certainly caught my attention. All the hair's standing up on top of my head. Could you make that noise again for me? I'm hearing all sorts of banging now. Footsteps really loud. Who is that? Who's walking, please? Could you tell me your name?
The sound of footsteps is heard coming from nearby, and it is louder on the static cam facing Mark in the hallway. Here is the audio with enhancements.
I'm hearing all sorts of banging now. Footsteps really loud. I'm hearing all sorts of banging now. Footsteps really loud. I bet it would have been pretty crazy having to spend long periods of time down here. I mean, we've only been down here 4 or 5 hours and it feels quite strange, so I wouldn't like to know what it would be like to have to stay down here for months on end. Did any of you have to do that in exercises, spend long periods of time down here? One thing that shocked me, which I found out from the history of this place, is if you were assigned to work down here and there was an imminent nuclear attack, you had to sign a waiver to say that you would come down here and your family, i.e. your wife and children or mother and father, would have to stay up top, as they used to call it, and fend for themselves. Did any of you find that difficult to actually think about and do that if you had to do it?
Mark finishes his session in the Prime Minister's quarters with good evidence documented, the opening and closing of a door and footsteps. He makes his way out to the stairwell and up to the first level where Phil and I are located. 4 minutes after Mark leaves, the music box activates as it picks up movement within the hallway. When we meet up with Mark and he tells us of what has happened, Phil decides that he will go down to level 2 where Mark was located and see if he can experience the same paranormal activity.
Okay, I've popped down to where Mark's been sitting because he said he heard some footsteps and a bang. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Phil. Now, as I say, you know Mark was down here a little while ago. Well, he thinks he heard you, and to be honest, he came up, he was a little bit unnerved. So he's asked me to pop down to talk to you. Really just to see whether you'll communicate with me. So I'm down here on my own. So I'm going to sit here. I'm going to ask you to make a noise, please. Okay, I thought I heard you then. To be honest, it sounded like more than one of you. Okay, yeah, I can hear you walking.
It is only minutes before Phil hears movement, followed by walking. Here is the enhanced audio taken from Phil's digital recorder.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you walking. Okay, yeah, I can hear you walking.
We move on to another area, the male dormitories. This is where on our previous investigation I was touched, and as that happened we captured a voice saying, "This bunk bed's mine."
So we've made our way to one of the male dormitories.
there's this room here, and it goes all the way back down there. It's full of all the bunk beds. Now this is where last time I heard a disembodied voice and got touched, which was down underneath here. We captured an EVP, and I heard the voice myself, a disembodied voice. It was recorded on the digital recorder, and the voice was saying, "This is my bunk bed," which made me jump. Now, as we've just come through here from that end, something moved at the other end, and also there was footsteps. We all stopped and we could hear the footsteps walking away from us. Unfortunately, we didn't capture it on audio or on camera. So if I can ask, do you remember me from last time? You told me that this is your bunk bed. Who are you? Can you tell me your name? And why you're still here? And just to point out to everyone, we're the only people in this bunker. We've secured the bomb blast doors. No one can get in here, it's just us. So any sounds, any noises that we actually hear will be coming from inside this bunker. The walls are 10 feet thick with reinforced steel. As I say, it's built for a nuclear attack. No noise from the outside can contaminate anything that we've recorded. Now, I'm not sure if you were here when this place was being constructed, but there was a gentleman that was called Ronald Horn, a civil engineer. He was the project manager here. Do you remember Ronald Horn? I've spoken to Ronald.
Died not so long ago.
What was that? Did you hear that voice, Phil?
I heard that loud and clear.
We all hear a disembodied voice which seems to come from behind me, and only on review do we then know what the voice is telling us. Died not so long ago. Here is the enhanced audio. I've spoken to Ronald.
Died not so long ago.
What was that? Did you hear that voice, Phil?
I heard that loud and clear.
I've spoken to Ronald.
Died not so long ago.
What was that? Did you hear that voice, Phil?
I heard that loud and clear.
We finished the session in the dormitories, and as we try to leave, the door will not open, as if it's been held from the other side. I try to open the door, pulling as hard as I can, but the door will not open.
Who's holding that door?
Can we come out, please? We want to come out now. Thank you.
That's fucking weird.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that door now. There you are. That's twice. That door wouldn't open.
Just want to try it from this side. Ready? That's weird. Well,
Someone was holding that door.
yeah.
That's isn't it?
That made my hair stand up then, mate. Never mind yours.
I was pulling the hell out of that door. It was time to fire up the SLS V2 high resolution cam, and we head back to the government department's area to see if we can map in any figures that our eyes cannot see. And as soon as we turn on the device, it maps in a figure working on a piece of equipment.
Oh,
You got one? Oh my god.
there's some working.
Look on the computer.
That looks quite incredible.
Oh my god.
He
Are you
is...
recording?
Yeah, something black's just gone across the top. He is
Down there.
over there.
Shit, we down to it.
He's standing there, in front of that pillar. He's working.
That is crazy.
My name's Jeff. What's your name?
You still there, mate? And there's nothing there to give a false reading.
I've come to speak to you. Is your name Charles? Are you the one that we spoke to last time that we were here? Pleased to meet you, Charles. Can you shake my hand?
You're probably about 3 foot away at the moment.
We can see you on one of our cameras. Is he still working, Phil?
Yeah, typing away.
I don't know which side of here he's...
Right, if you walk about another foot the way you were going,
Oh, my right arm is really tingling.
you're touching him now.
I'm getting static. It's going all the way through my arm. There's static here.
Is there? I mean, if you were to step half a step forwards,
I would be hitting the table.
well, you're.
Yeah,
That's where it is.
I've got static going all through my arm. Is he not turned?
No. It's not typing at the moment.
I kid you not, all of my head is tingling and all this arm as well. Everything's tingling now. I can feel it. It's complete static going through my body. What sort of work are you doing? Are you in charge? Are you looking after the operations here? I'm going to move away because it's really staticky. It's right across my face and my head.
It's not working. Yeah.
About there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come across to your right a bit, Phil. That's about it, yeah.
Is he closer to the wall or?
He's standing right there.
Did
Did you feel it? Or did you
Not
feel
sure.
it? I'm going to try after as well if I can.
Yeah, you can feel. Wow, that static is massive.
No, mad.
He's getting annoyed.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so because I felt something on me.
We're really sorry if we're upsetting you. We're just really surprised that we can see you, and we don't mean to make you angry or upset.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Something else as well.
A great big something black moving.
I've gone absolutely frozen. The static is going through my body. Can I feel you? Oh, that is the strangest feeling.
Well, be careful, Marcus. With me, it suddenly just went right through me.
That's what it did then when I stepped forward. And it's gone now. Sorry, we don't mean to disturb you. We're just really happy that we can see you. What's your name? There's all sorts of noises from behind me as well. Oh, God. Well, we're going to step back a bit and just let you carry on. Thank you very much. We don't want to upset you anymore.
We leave the government department's area, and with dawn not far away, we bed down for a few hours. Mark will be sleeping in the sick bay where the shadow figure has been seen. Phil and I will be sleeping in the male dormitories. Phil arranges his bed. There is no one else on this level at this time, and as he climbs into his bunk bed, a figure which moves at great speed passes the window at the far end. You can see the dark hair and a white shirt as it passes by.